Hello trader, hope that you had an enjoyable trading day. Dollar CAD and dollar yen, these two instruments currently trending, and we may find significant trading opportunity in both of these instruments. So we are looking at lower time frame to see potential entry. Now, before we look at how we can trade, first of all, let's look at bigger picture, starting with the dollar CAD to see overall direction in this market. Now, from the bigger picture, looking at the monthly on dollar CAD, we can see that this market back to back 3 months has a very strong rejection from this monthly resistance line. So historically, it was in a bull market, and after creating that overextension from this monthly resistance, we saw that with a massive gap open, the market completely has broken below. Now, because there is a strong breakout and straight rejection, we could see that dollar had potentially to retest this support level. As this market has got the rejection, it is less likely that the buyers may be able to break that high. Instead, we could see that dollar had to grab liquidity to break this trend line and then to potentially bounce back again. So from the bigger picture monthly, we could see the dollar CAD to remain bearish. If we drop down to the weekly chart, we can see that the price action is playing out in that zone, and we see that there is a visible head and shoulder from the weekly in that significant level of resistance line, followed by multiple long wick candles with stronger liquidity grab, giving dollar CAD a very high probability for the market to potentially trend back to that support level. Now, this is a very important support here, support here, support here, and also support here, which is a very important level, expecting dollar CAD to potentially trend in that direction to that support level. So which is a high probability that dollar CAD from the weekly as well may remain bearish in that area. Now, if we look at the daily chart here on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily perspective, here is where there is a daily breakup structure, a strong drop here, followed by this pullback narrow, and we can see that there is another break here in the direction of the trend from the daily perspective here on dollar CAD. And we can see that there is an inverted pin bar here on the daily perspective here, and the price is approaching that level where there is an important level of resistance. And because this market is trending, we could see that dollar CAD to potentially retest and then to trend again in the major direction where there is a high liquidity in that area. So looking at the intraday time frame from 4-hour perspective here, we can see that there was a liquidity grab here, a drop, followed by we can see that there's another liquidity grab here, drop, and we can see there is another liquidity grab in that area with a strong pin bar. Now currently the market is again pushing back to the upside for another retest of this potentially to that resistance line. We're expecting dollar CAD potentially to test and then to revert back again in the major direction of the trend. So this is a very important resistance line, expecting dollar CAD to potentially grab the liquidity and then to trend back again in the major direction. So I think the dollar CAD, any bounce back to that resistance line is where we will be able to potentially sell this instrument. So as soon as we will find suitable entry on dollar CAD, we will be looking for short with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at on dollar yen. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument. Looking at monthly on dollar yen, we can see that from the monthly chart here, there is a monthly liquidity grab, a big drop to that monthly support level. And this monthly candlestick pattern here on the, we can see this is a massive break from the monthly, and with that break expecting dollar yen to potentially to remain bearish after initial pullback here. Now if we look at the weekly chart here on dollar yen, we can see that from the weekly there's a gap open, series of lower high formation in a sharply downtrending market on dollar yen. And as this week we see the market open also with a big gap and it started to drop, so we may see that as well to remain bearish as the market is approaching that important support level. And we may see that, as if we look at the top from the weekly, we can see that it created a lower high, so we might see that potentially creating a lower low here, which is an important support here on dollar yen. And with that being said, if we look at the daily chart here on dollar yen, where we can see the market is in a downtrend here, so there's a liquidity gap here, a big drop followed by narrow doji, another drop. And currently the market is, this is the previous daily candle with a long wick, expecting from a daily perspective on dollar yen for the price to potentially retest and then to trend back in that direction. So looking at the 4-hour chart here on dollar yen, we can see that the market is trending here and wanting to see the price to break that any of this important level. And I think that the price may potentially react to the upside, as this structure on the intraday we can see that it's getting, the trend is getting weaker, which is becoming a little flat, so it requires liquidity for that potential breakdown. So we could see that in this structure to break to the upside, and once we see the market has strongly broken to the upside and rejected, we may see here a potential head and shoulder formation. That's where you can look for selling opportunity, keeping our stop loss above that break, and selling from that zone depending on the structure formation. So this is the plan for dollar yen. Let's see what kind of opportunity it arises, and in the meantime I will also post an update for more education very soon. Traders, if you enjoyed this analysis, make sure you give a thumbs up and also join the community link below this video. I'll see you there. Until then, stay well, stay happy.